Hey everyone, TimaeuSS, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. So the CM Bros have done it again. Alright, here comes a very in-depth Kafka guide from the CM Bros. I can't believe I watched a 27-minute video and going back and forth and looking at some of the other CM Bros guides in comparison to bring you the ultimate breakdown for Kafka. Today we're going to talk about the team building section, the LightCone choices, the main stat and substat choices for Kafka. For those of you that did not tune into my stream, well, welcome. We did manage to pull, of course, the E6 Kafka. The E6 Kafka right here. She came super early for me as well, so I'm super happy, very lucky. And if you guys check out my most recent stream, we'll do a live stream of me using just Kafka E6 with no gear, naked Kafka with just her and the LightCone, and we're gonna do memory chaos and try to get that zero cycle. But without further ado, let's talk about the CM Bros and the ultimate Kafka guide, because this is really in-depth. I'll try to obviously not go the full length, but let's talk about Kafka. So Kafka, as we know, turns the damage over time on its head. Currently supported by some of the choices we have, Sample, Luca, as well as Servo, being Luca and Sample the optimized choice at the current moment. Now, in this video, he starts off by kind of going through the dot technique and what increases the damage, right? And just to basically summarize this, Tingyun is going to be very good. Tingyun is going to be super fantastic for Kafka's buff because of the attack and how it scales, which is why Tingyun is definitely going to be one of the recommended units if you want to run a solo Kafka like me. Now, this is going over the traces. He does break down how each individual effect and traces will change Kafka's damage output, and how the battle technique is basically 3 target and explodes in the, as you can see here, the dot on the enemy, but the main target only. Okay, it does not reduce the turn count on the enemy dot, so it's really good. You basically just get an explosion, because the previous dot teams, and you have to wait for the enemy to take their turn, right? But that's no longer the case, and that's why it's really good. So if we fast forward, you can see that he does a very nice breakdown on the team. So this is the solo Kafka. So this is solo supported by Tingyun and the Silver Wolf and Bailu. This team is really good because you got 3 lightning plus the quantum, right? So you can just apply either the lightning weakness if the enemy is already quantum weak, and if an enemy is already lightning weak, then it's perfect. So you can see that Kafka, this is a damage. So he's done real testing. So this is not theorycraft. He's used several accounts with different Eidolon levels, and we're looking at Eidolon 0, level 0 right now. So this is in combat testing. Okay, so you can see Kafka's most of her damage will come out from the ultimate as well as the battle skills. So this is where the most of her ultimate her damage output will come from. 51% from the ultimate, and then battle skill 36% as well. So quite a big number from the ultimate, if I have to say so myself. And if you look at the Eidolons, you'll go over the math breakdown for the Eidolons as well. So let's just switch to the Eidolon part. There's a very nice breakdown, okay? And we'll jump right into here. So this is the Eidolon breakdown, and we can just skip to the conclusion. So for the Eidolon breakdown, you can see here, this is the first line is the basically her in a vacuum. Second line is her as the solo damage dealer, and then third line is her plus Luca being the optimal choice here at the moment. So you can see her Eidolons do offer a massive boost, because the optimal Eidolon boost per level is going to be at least a minimum of 12%. That's their kind of benchmark. So if you look at Eidolon 1, and that's what they're recommending, Eidolon 1 gives it 13.8% in a solo Kafka situation with Tingyun and Bailu in the teams, and in a dot double damage dot setup, Kafka plus Luca, it's almost a 20% boost with just Eidolon 1. Now if you look at Eidolon 6, it completely changes things with 156% increase in damage versus E0. And if you look at the Luca setup, it's 167. So if you're running kind of just Kafka herself, which is most likely what I'll be doing, because I don't have the resources to build up another damage over time at the current moment, the Eidolon 6 is going to offer so much for her. It's going to offer a lot, which is what I'm very happy about, because then I can just wait for another damage over time unit to come up. So this is the cone comparison. So now we know there are definitely a lot of cones that she can use, and free-to-play options are definitely there. So if we take a look, her signature cone at S1, Super Imposition 1, versus the other 5-star as well as 4-star cones. So against Welt's signature cone, you're losing about 6.5% damage. But if you compare to the Super Imposition 5 of Good Night and Sleep Tight, is that what it's called? Good Night and Sleep. You're only losing a 1.9% if you are using the double dot composition, right? And if it's a single damage dealer composition, you're only losing 4.4%. So it's a very, very good free-to-play option. The Super Imposition 5 S5 cone is a very, very good 4-star LightCone option for Kafka, which is, I think, really, really good, because then you can just pull 2 of Kafka's copy to go for E1, which we saw was a 20% boost, and then go for Super Imposition 5 of the LightCone, and this will overall give you about a 11% damage boost in comparison to if you pull Kafka unit but E0 and then pull 1 copy of her cone. So this is really, really good to see. Now we go over the gear, and he talks about the breakpoints, and for Kafka it's not the easiest because of how damage works for E0 Kafka to do 0 cycle, but it's been done already. We've seen already, right? But you can see the recommendation is E1 plus the free-to-play cone. But if we look at the gear, it's speed boots. This is Kafka, and her stacking from traces, LightCones, and base speed is 100. LightCone gives 1260 attack, and her traces gives 28% attack, 18% effect chance to hit, but a weird 10% HP. So she gets a 10% HP instead of the other hyper carries that usually get, for example, their own damage increase for the lightning orb, damage type increase. She doesn't get that. So I don't know why they gave that 10%. But in comparison, okay, those are the speed marks you have to hit. And 134 is basically everyone's number. So 133.3 repeated, 134 to be safe is the number that everyone should be hitting for memory chaos reasons. And she gets that easily. With just speed boots and her signature cone. She hits 139 without any additional speed stats, which is really, really good, right? You can hit that easily. So for those of you that are looking for substats, you can definitely push her to the next one, which is 143, 145, and then even higher 155. So look at the speed breakdown. I'll have an image pinned. You can see basically the speed you ideally want to hit, but speed boots for sure, and the lightning 4 sets, because you're getting attack increase, and then you're also getting the lightning type damage. DI is very important. For me personally, I'm gonna run the quantum set. It's definitely copium because I don't have a lightning set farmed, and also because I'll be running Silver Wolf. The quantum set isn't the worst to run in the lightning Silver Wolf Kafka team. Inside 2-piece, you want to go for the Hertar Space Station because she will hit that speed by herself basically, so you'll get that extra 12% attack, equating to 24% total. You can go for crit stat if you want. It's a possibility, but they talk about how because the dot you cannot crit, and the amount lost is about 7.1% if you run a crit chest. Okay, so attack chest, speed boots, attack rope, and lightning damage orb is definitely what you want to run for Kafka's entire set. So you don't have to go for crit. Okay, you don't have to go for crit. Go for attack. Kafka wants attack and speed for you to try to hit the optimal setup. Now, looking at team buildup, so you can see in the basically Ting Yun plus Kafka is a fantastic team, but Ting Yun plus Kafka plus Silver is an 86% damage increase. Now, if you can put both of them together, oh, this is going to be crazy. This is going to be crazy because you also will have the Ting Yun LightCone that boosts Kafka's attack type because of the lightning, the planetary, if you want to run that LightCone. And then with all the debuff coming out from Silverwolf and all 3 other members are lightning, basically you only have a chance to apply lightning or quantum, and if the enemy is already quantum, you apply lightning for sure. They don't really recommend Bronya at the current moment because it's going to be skill point heavy, but if you have an invested Bronya with E1 refunding and also Cone refunding with lightning with energy recharge, this is actually not a bad option as well. As we saw, free to play E0 Kafka 0 turn cycle, you can already clear with Bronya, but they do use Pela, of course, for the SP regen, so you can use Pela here and then add Bronya and Tingyi so for that 0 cycle clear. Now Luca, this is testing, right? Personally, if you know me, I'm definitely more of a solo Kafka kind of person, but if you want to use damage dealer, okay, if you want to use a double dot team, Luca sample is definitely one of the choices available. They're both viable, of course, over Servo, for example. And if you look at Luca sample, currently Luca does fare a bit better, but I know a lot of people have sample built already, so you can swap. They're all viable. But if you're a waifu lover, you can go for Servo, and Asta is definitely one of the options as well. But speed tuning requires some testing, and in this kind of video, they didn't really go over the Asta ultimate breakdown. So the poll recommendation is you can use Kafka as a hyper carry. That is possible. That is completely possible. And you definitely want to go E1 if you can. You know, if you were going to go for Kafka plus or Kong, just go for E1 instead and use the free-to-play Kong. It offers a bigger damage boost overall, right? It offers a much bigger damage boost overall. So, wow, this is a very long video. I've never sat through a 30-minute video and made another like 10-minute video, guys. Quite insane, to be honest. But we'll do testing. For me personally, we'll release a video. We have her Kong at E1 because in the CN testing, it was her Kong at S5, right? So we'll do S1 Kong and then E6 Kafka with no gear, 0 gear, but I need to farm and max the traces. So yeah, looking forward to the testing video. Find me on stream and we'll do more Kafka building. And until next time, it's TimaeuSS here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.